Alright folks, are you ready? Because things have officially gone off the rails. A few days ago we talked about Trump going on the offensive against BRICS, and now, it's not just rhetoric, it's economic warfare. The man is leading a one-man coalition, not just against China, but against a rising global power bloc that could flip the world order upside down. And let's be real here, Trump isn't doing this just for show. The reason is crystal clear. BRICS is becoming too big to ignore, too powerful to contain, and if it continues on this trajectory, the US won't be the center of the global economy anymore. So here's the math, and it's terrifying if you're sitting in Washington. BRICS plus countries now account for 54% of the world's population. That's not just a number, that's a middle-class explosion waiting to happen. That's GDP growth, trade surpluses, and rising industrial powers that don't need the US anymore. In terms of purchasing power parity, BRICS holds 43% of the global total. Let that sink in. So, if you're Trump, and your entire geopolitical strategy is America first, then BRICS needs to be stopped. Right, now. And how does Trump do it? Simple, he does what he always does. Bully countries who still want access to the US market. Now China? That ship has sailed. They're already building their parallel systems, payments, supply chains, logistics, energy. Economic warfare doesn't faze them anymore. But India's different. India is still trying to play both sides. It wants to be part of the Western club, but it also wants to be a key player in BRICS, and that's the sweet spot Trump is targeting. He's now threatening India with a massive tariff hike, possibly within 24 hours. The current baseline? 25%. But whispers from DC suggest it could double, maybe even more. Why? Because India sells a lot to the US, electronics, pharmaceuticals, and yes, diamonds. Nearly $10 billion in gemstones flow from India into the American market each year. But if Trump unleashes a 50% or higher tariff, that market could collapse. Overnight. Here's the twist. These aren't essential goods. They're luxury items. The moment prices spike, Americans just stop buying. It's not food, it's not medicine, it's optional. And who benefits from that collapse? You guessed it. China. Because while the US is the biggest market for diamonds, around $24 billion worth, China and Hong Kong combined are even larger. So if Trump pushes India away, where do those diamonds go? They go east. But this isn't just about diamonds, it's a microcosm of a much larger problem. US trade policy is now creating massive ripple effects. And not the good kind. Remember how sanctions drove Russia and China closer together? Trump is about to repeat that mistake, this time with India. Push India too hard? They pivot east. Again. And China gets everything it wants on a silver platter. Cheaper goods, closer ties, and even more leverage. Let's talk oil, because this is where things really get wild. Right now, India buys more Russian oil than China. Over 200,000 barrels per day more, in fact. But if Trump forces India to back off, either directly or indirectly, China steps in. And just like that, Beijing could snatch up an extra 2 million barrels per day. Why does that matter? Because oil isn't just energy, it's the foundation of industry. Cheaper oil means cheaper fertilizer, cheaper plastics, cheaper everything. China would turbocharge its industrial base, lower global export prices, and further outcompete the US. Meanwhile, the G7 just watches it happen. And it's not like China is sitting around waiting, they've already built the infrastructure. The Power of Siberia pipeline connects Russia's gas fields directly to China's market. And Power of Siberia 2? That's on the way, another 50 billion cubic meters of gas annually. At a discount, of course. Trump's goal may be to weaken Russian revenues, but what he's actually doing is strengthening the BRICS industrial engine. He's helping China become the discount factory of the world, again. And let's not forget semiconductors, the crown jewel of modern technology. The global chip market is worth $700 billion annually. But Trump's waging war on it too. His dream? To force every high-tech firm to bring their factories to the US-built TSMC plants in the Arizona desert. Convince Samsung to set up shop in the middle of nowhere. Transfer tech by hook or by crook. All because of one fear: China catching up. But here's the kicker. The more the US chokes China, the faster China adapts. In 2024, Chinese M&A activity in semiconductors exploded. And in 2025, it's on track to break records. China is building a self-sufficient semiconductor ecosystem. End to end. They're not backing down, they're doubling down. Meanwhile, back in America, the average consumer is taking hit after hit. Pharmaceutical prices? About to go through the roof. Trump's next target is drug imports. We're talking tariffs of 150%, maybe even 250%. And guess who pays? You. The patient, the family, the person who just wants affordable insulin or antibiotics, Because when drug makers shift production back to the US, you better believe they'll still charge premium prices. Tariffs or not. Want a new phone or laptop? Get ready to pay more. Tariffs on semiconductors ripple across every gadget and device. It's not just a China tax, it's a consumer tax. And now, tourism. Oh, it's a mess. International travel to the US is down 12% and falling fast. Why? Because it's just too expensive. And tourists are sick of the horror stories, the border checks, the visa hassles, the inflated prices. According to Bloomberg, $20 billion in retail spending is now at risk. Tourists from China and India, two of the biggest spenders, are turning away. They each spend around $16,000 per trip. And now, they're staying home. And if all that wasn't enough, the US is now floating the idea of making some travelers post a $15,000 bond just to enter the country. Seriously, a bond. Just to visit. Imagine that. Paying before you even step off the plane. It's not policy, it's a shakedown. Another short-sighted move that screams desperation. And look, all of this is happening while the US economy teeters. Job growth just collapsed. Consumer confidence is sinking. Inflation is still hammering middle-class families. But Trump? He's busy starting a global tariff war. One that punishes not just rivals, but allies too. And guess what? Even a weaker dollar isn't helping. Prices in the US are still high, tourists still feel gouged, and US consumers are paying a hidden tax on nearly everything they buy. According to Fitch, the effective US tariff rate is now 17%. And that's a conservative estimate. In some categories, it's likely double. So let's be honest. Who's really paying the price here? Not the BRICS, not China, not India. You are. You, the consumer, the traveler, the patient, the worker. So as we stand on the edge of this next trade war, ask yourself, will BRICS cave to Trump's pressure? Will this gamble bring manufacturing back to America, or will it just accelerate the decline? Will this strategy protect American jobs, or hand the keys of the global economy to China? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you found this video insightful, do me a favor. Smash the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. Stay smart, stay informed, and as always, stay safe.